Okay, so picture this. You're 7, glued to the TV, singing along to the Powerpuff Girls theme song, right? Sugar, spice, everything nice.
Yeah, classic.
Until you're older, you look back and you realize the whole premise of their friend, Robin, being an accident child, is this massive wink and nudge at unplanned pregnancies.
Wait, really? Robin?
Yeah. Like, that's the everything nice they're talking about. How did that get past us as kids? It's absolutely audacious when you think about it.
And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. You think your childhood was innocent? Think again.
Apparently not.
What's fascinating here is how much layered meaning got woven into those shows we watched right under our noses, completely unbeknownst to our younger selves.
It's almost like a secret language.
Yeah, like a hidden conversation embedded within the animation itself, meant for a totally different audience.
We were just talking about A. Daniel's vision last deep dive, how Daniel L. Bates, this really intriguing emerging creative force, reimagines classic stories like Peter Pan with all these fresh layers.
Right, The Boy Who Stole Time. That was fascinating.
And then, totally out of nowhere, you sent us this video that got us thinking, and it just kind of spiraled from there. Like, what else have we been watching since we were kids that had these, profound layers we just didn't see?
Mm-hmm.
It begs the question, what does this reevaluation do to our cherished nostalgia? Does it just get, more complicated or something richer?
It absolutely adds complexity, yeah. But in doing so, it offers a much richer understanding of not just the shows, but also of media's role in, our development.
Okay.
So this deep dive is going to pull back the curtain on the surprising adult jokes, the genuinely dark origins, and even some profound social commentary hidden in the colorful world of children's television.
Right.
Our mission today is really to show you how these shows shaped us, often without us even realizing it, and what happens when we go back and look at them with adult eyes. It's about seeing the intricate threads that connect our seemingly innocent past to the complex tapestry of our present understanding. It's a journey of rediscovery, really, where every familiar frame holds a new secret.
I'm ready. I feel like this is going to either blow my mind or just make me question everything I thought I knew about Saturday mornings. Probably a bit of both, honestly.
Probably. Let's start by looking at the intentional subtleties, because this is where the humor, really comes into play.
Okay.
Embedding jokes that only adults would notice or truly understand is actually a widespread practice. It's not unique to just one studio, but common across different productions.
So it wasn't just like a one-off thing?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
This isn't accidental. It's by design. A conscious decision by writers and animators to entertain the parents watching alongside their kids, or maybe just to amuse themselves.
Right, like creating a little secret club for the grown-ups.
Exactly. It creates this subtle secret club.
So it's like they're saying, we see you, tired parent, we get it. It's kind of brilliant, actually, when you think about it. It makes the content multi-layered, rewarding, repeat viewings,
Yeah.
Providing a different experience for different age groups.
Exactly. And some of these jokes were surprisingly explicit, disguised only by their cartoonish context.
Like the Powerpuff Girls one.
Yeah, that Powerpuff Girls example you started with, the Accident Child episode from season 4. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup meet Robin Schneider. They explain how they were accidentally created by Professor Utonium with Chemical X.
Right, the classic origin story.
But what's absolutely wild is Robin's response. She just casually tells the professor not to worry, because she was an accident too.
Yeah, that scene when she says, your dad is funny. After the professor mentions how he made them by accident, and she means her parents engaged in explicit adult activities to create her, when I watched that back, my jaw absolutely dropped. How did a line with that level of implication make it into a kid's show? It's so direct once you grasp its meaning. It's less subtle and more just daring.
It truly is a testament to the cleverness of the writers, their ability to walk that line. And Rocco's Modern Life, that show is always pushing boundaries.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In the All-Scottish Show episode from season 1, Rocco and Heifer are watching TV. Heifer asks if they can watch something different, but Rocco says he can't afford other channels beyond the All-Scottish Show.
Okay, sounds innocent enough.
But if you look at the first letter of each of those words, All-Scottish Show, they spell out ASS.
Oh, come on, ASS, no way. I genuinely can't believe I didn't see that as a kid. I just thought it was a funny name for a terrible channel. It's just so brazen, hiding in plain sight.
Totally brazen.
And then SpongeBob SquarePants, Invisible Genius, Season 1, Episode 18. Sandy Cheeks is homesick, right?
Mm.
So SpongeBob and Patrick try to bring Texas to Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, I remember that one.
SpongeBob says something to Patrick, and Patrick misinterprets genius as SpongeBob referring to his privates. He thinks SpongeBob is saying, your genius is showing, implying, a wardrobe malfunction.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Patrick looks down as if his shorts have malfunctioned, and it's a quick visual gag paired with a classic double entendre that sails right over kids' heads.
Okay, that's clever.
Animaniacs, a show notorious for this, in Dusty Prince from Season 1. Dot is dusting for fingerprints, but she gets confused and thinks Yakko wants her to find the pop star prince.
Oh my god, yes.
She strolls in carrying an actual prince. Yakko tries to clarify, no, fingerprints. But Dot just doesn't get it.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a silly play on words. Fingerprints, prints.
Yeah.
But now that you say it, I can almost picture the writers winking at each other in the writer's room.
Right.
It just sounds so much dirtier once you add finger before Prince. The context makes it incredibly suggestive. And Dot gives Prince this, knowing smile before she just throws him out the window. The sheer audacity.
It's all about context and intonation, isn't it?
Totally.
And speaking of misinterpretations, Full House, surprisingly, had one. In Horoscope, Season 4, Episode 6, Kimmy Gibbler writes a horoscope for Stephanie.
Oh, Kimmy Gibbler, of course.
Stephanie, upon learning about the section, jokes, Madam Kimmy's horoscope. Oh, if the words are too big for you to read, you can always color on it. Horoscope? What's that? Give me a telescope. They can only see your face.
Okay, that one, I honestly thought it was just a typical kid insult, like calling her ugly. But yeah, it definitely sounds like it could be something much worse, given the tone sometimes.
Exactly. While it might sound like a much dirtier joke, the source says the intent was a play on words related to a telescope, implying Kimmy's appearance was horrific.
Ah, okay. Horoscope. Got it.
It's a subtle distinction, but important for understanding the specific type of humor. And just a quick, shocking mention of another Powerpuff Girls moment. The mayor licking a pussycat.
Oh, God, no.
That's another quick blink and you miss it. How did that get there?
No.
Moment of hidden adult humor.
I don't even want to think about that one. My childhood is in serious need of therapy right now. But, okay, it wasn't just explicit jokes. There was also incredibly subtle innuendo, right?
Definitely. Like Looney Tunes. In Multiply, Bugs Bunny is asked to help the Easter Bunny, and in the beginning, Bugs is reading a book on how to multiply.
Right. As a kid, you'd think it's just about math, yeah.
Exactly. But it's a subtle joke about mating and reproduction. Bugs is essentially learning how to make more bunnies.
Which, for a rabbit, is quite on brand, I guess.
But not something you'd expect to be overtly taught in a children's cartoon. Then, the 2002 live-action Scooby-Doo film had a really popular one.
Oh, yeah.
Shaggy meets a girl on an airplane who's eating dog treats. He gets excited, saying he loves them too. Her name, Mary Jane.
Mary Jane. No way. As in, yeah. I swear, Shaggy was always the stoner character in my head with his far-out comments and constant munchies. But to actually name a character Mary Jane, that's next level. It's like the writers were just saying it out loud.
It absolutely reinforces that long-implied trait. A clear wink to the adults in the audience who picked up on Shaggy's character from the beginning.
Wow.
And Hey Arnold, in Notsum's Woodstock, Season 4.
Yeah.
Arnold discovers his grandpa never graduated grade school and encourages him to go back.
Right.
The grandpa responds by saying he doesn't have enough brain cells, not due to age, but due to a certain event.
Oh, the Woodstock Festival reference from '69, height of the hippie craze, mass drug usage.
Exactly.
So the grandpa's brain cells are gone, not because he's old, but because he was, really at Woodstock. That's a deep cut, a very specific cultural reference that kids would never get, but parents immediately would.
It's a clever way to add adult humor without being inappropriate for children. Adds that layer of sophistication.
Yeah.
But then you get into shows like Ed and Eddie, and the humor takes a much darker turn.
Oh, how so?
The Kanker sisters' obsession with the Eds goes beyond typical kid meanness. It includes non-consensual behaviors like unwanted kisses and even hypnotizing them into becoming their pets.
Okay, yeah, that's messed up. That's not just a childhood crush. That's harassment. Really,
Yeah.
like, I'm so happy you dropped in, hope you like our dad's robes, and then forcing them to be their husbands and pets.
Right.
That's a much darker level of torment than typical cartoon rivalry. It borders on genuinely unsettling, especially when you rewatch it now with adult eyes.
It absolutely does. It moves from playful antagonism to something far more problematic and disturbing. And Cow and Chicken had an episode that was outright banned by Cartoon Network.
Banned? Wow, what happened?
It was called Munching the Rug or Buffalo Gals. It reportedly had covert sexual imagery and offensive generalization of lesbians.
Wait, what?
Specifically, the Buffalo Gals were women who chomped on carpets, and there were suggestive lines about pork butts and taters and don't like to dine out on nuts.
Wow, a whole episode banned for that. Munching the rug is a very specific, crude slang term. Chomping on carpets and don't like to dine out on nuts. I can absolutely see why that got pulled. It sounds like they were trying to be overtly provocative, almost daring the censors. How did that even get through the initial approval process?
It's truly shocking how much they snuck in. And then in Dexter's laboratory, the episode Dexter Gets a New Assistant, where he auditions a replacement for Dee Dee.
Okay.
He chooses Candy, a voluptuous blonde, and when Dexter asks her to dance, she tells him it will cost $50 extra.
Okay, so it's strongly implied she's dabbling in sex work, even though she says she's an actress looking for screen time.
Yeah, that's the heavy implication.
So she's trying to make a living while waiting for her big break. But the insinuation is pretty heavy for a cartoon aimed at kids. It's certainly not just a typical workers' rights joke.
It's definitely not. It's a very strong insinuation about how she's trying to make money. And speaking of crude jokes, Jimmy Neutron had a line in A Life-Changing Banana.
Oh boy. What was it?
The line about sitting on a banana at age 7 and it creating American Pie vibes.
American Pie vibes. Oh no!
Yeah.
That's a direct reference to a very specific, very R-rated scene from that movie.
Yep. The quote is, "When I was 7 years old, I sat on the banana, and of course that changed my life."
That's a crude joke that is extremely suggestive. I'm just baffled as to how that made it into a kids' show.
Again, it's the plausible deniability. Kids don't get the reference. Adults do.
Right.
Justice League also had a subtle one. There's a joke about the Flash being the fastest man alive, but unable to get a date.
Yeah.
The implication being that his speed isn't exactly a desired quality in all areas of life.
Fastest man alive, which might explain why you can't get a date. That's a good one. Subtle, but it absolutely lands for adults. It's like, yeah, some qualities aren't universally beneficial. Sometimes speed isn't everything.
Precisely. And then back to Rocco's modern life in the episode Rocco's Job, canned. Rocco gets a new job, and the sexual innuendo surrounding it is incredibly blatant.
How blatant are we talking?
Posters suggest X-rated content, and Rocco himself says, "Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby."
Yeah, that's almost impossible to miss, even as a kid, if you were paying attention. I mean, they're practically screaming it. How did that get past the censors?
That's what the source wonders, too. We have no idea how the creators snuck something so blatant into the episode without anyone raising the censorship alarm. It really makes you wonder about the standards back then.
It really does. It was a very different era for television.
And speaking of different eras, we have to look at the historical context. Think about the Flintstones.
Okay, yeah. Bedrock.
This modern Stone Age family entertained children for decades, but it aired during prime time, meaning it often featured content for an older audience. In its early days, an ad integrated directly into the show promoted Winston cigarettes.
Wait, Fred and Barney promoting Winston cigarettes in the show?
Yep, Winston's is the one. Put the cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. There's a whole bit where they're hiding out from their wives to have a Winston break.
That's wild. Like, sitting there talking about cigarettes, it's absolutely shocking for a family-friendly show today, especially since cigarette ads were banned in 1971.
Exactly. It just highlights how dramatically sensibilities have changed. Imagine seeing that now on, like, Disney Junior.
You just can't. It's unfathomable, isn't it?
It really is. This deliberate layering of adult humor, subtle innuendo, and even outright risque content within children's shows reveals this sophisticated, often subversive partnership between creators and adult viewers.
Yeah.
It transforms seemingly innocent cartoons into a secret club where shared winks and nudges offered a critical commentary on life right under the noses of unsuspecting children.
It's a fascinating look at how entertainment is designed to be consumed on multiple levels, shaping our understanding without us even knowing it. My mind is officially blown, and we're just getting started.
Buckle up.
Okay, let's unpack this. Beyond the hidden jokes, these shows often had much darker origins or spun off into disturbing, unconfirmed theories. It's like finding out your favorite fairy tale has a grim, violent original version.
And many do. It's true. Many beloved Disney films, for instance, have origins far darker than their on-screen adaptations, often heavily censored for children.
Like Snow White.
Take Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs from 1937. The film is a classic, but the Brothers Grimm original, published in 1812, is much more gruesome.
You mean beyond the poisoned apple and the prince's kiss? What else happened in that original story? I know the queen tried multiple times, right?
Oh, yeah. But the Wicked Queen's punishment at the end is quite severe. After Snow White is revived, she and the prince have a huge wedding. The evil queen accepts the invitation, not realizing it's Snow White's wedding.
Oh, awkward.
When she arrives, she's made to wear a pair of shoes that are glowing red hot and is forced to dance until she drops dead.
Wow. Dancing in red hot shoes until you die. That's pretty extreme for a children's story. That's not exactly happily ever after for the villain. No wonder Disney opted for a less fiery demise.
Indeed. And Tangled, which is Disney's version of Rapunzel. The film has the magical healing hair, the prince, Mother Gothel.
Yeah, charming movie.
But the original Rapunzel story is quite different. It begins with a lonely couple living next to an evil witch, Dame Gothel. The pregnant wife sees a Rapunzel plant in the witch's garden and asks her husband to steal it for her.
Okay.
He's caught, and the witch agrees to let him go on the condition that he hands over their baby as soon as it's born.
So the baby is essentially traded for a vegetable. That's a grim start right there, laying the groundwork for some serious moral ambiguity.
Yes. The witch takes the newborn, names her Rapunzel, and raises her as her own, locking her in a secret tower at age 12. A prince hears Rapunzel singing, they meet and fall in love, planning her escape.
Gothel finds out.
But Dame Gothel finds out, cuts off Rapunzel's hair, and slings her into the woods to fend for herself. Then she uses the cut hair to trick the prince.
And the prince is blinded, right? I heard about that part. That was a pretty iconic change in the story.
Exactly. When the prince reaches the top and realizes Rapunzel is gone, he jumps from the tower in an attempt to kill himself.
Oh my God.
He survives, but thorns pierce his eyes, leaving him blind. He wanders aimlessly for months until he hears Rapunzel singing, is reunited with her, and she restores his sight with her tears.
Wow. And what happens to Gothel?
As for Dame Gothel, in a fit of anger, she drops the length of hair and is forever trapped in the tower to die.
That's a lot more intense than the Disney version, where Gothel just ages rapidly and falls out the window. The self-mutilation attempt, the blindness, the witch being trapped to starve, it paints a very bleak picture of survival rather than a straightforward romance.
It certainly paints a much grittier picture of their world.
It just makes the original feel more epic and tragic, I think.
It does. Then there's Pinocchio, the 1940 Disney film. It's a classic, right? The little wooden boy who wants to be real.
Yeah, When You Wish Upon a Star.
But Carlo Collodi's original Adventures of Pinocchio is much, much darker. Pinocchio is described as a wretched and thoroughly disobedient boy who laughs in his creator Geppetto's face and steals his wig.
Okay, so not quite the sweet, naive boy from the movie.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And Jiminy Cricket isn't the wise guide. Pinocchio actually bashes the insect's head in with a hammer and kills him.
He murders Jiminy Cricket, the innocent little conscience cricket. That's horrifying. I can't even fathom that in the movie. Pinocchio bashes the insect's head in with a hammer and kills him.
Right.
Wow. That's a fundamentally different character.
And it gets worse. Pinocchio is repeatedly starved, tortured, robbed, and kidnapped, and his wooden legs are burnt off.
His legs are burnt off.
Yeah. The author initially wanted to end Pinocchio's life by hanging him, but publishers were horrified and forced him to bring Pinocchio back to life. Even after that, the writer apparently continued to inflict torture and abuse upon Pinocchio.
That's a dark commentary on parenting and discipline. Like the author's apparent contempt for badly behaved children, Pinocchio being made an example of what happens to disobedient kids.
Exactly.
It's less a fable about becoming a real boy and more a brutal cautionary tale of extreme punishment. I'm certainly glad Disney took a different, more forgiving approach with that one.
Definitely. And Pocahontas, the 1995 film. Disney took significant historical liberties, transforming a complex history into a romantic narrative.
Right. The romance with John Smith.
The film depicts a romance between Pocahontas and Captain John Smith. The truth is, Pocahontas' birth name was Matoa, and she was around 10 years old when she saved Captain John Smith from execution.
10 years old, so no romance at all, and she was a child.
Huh.
That's a pretty big historical liberty, to put it mildly. It fundamentally changes the entire narrative.
Indeed. She was later captured by English settlers, met and married John Rolfe, and was renamed Rebecca. This was the first recorded marriage between a European man and a Native American woman. She died at 21 in England.
Oh, wow.
And there was suspicion her death was caused by poisoning, though it was never confirmed.
That's just sad. It makes the Disney version feel simplistic, almost dismissive of the actual tragic, complex history. It's just crazy to think that when watching the film that it's loosely based on real historical events.
Yeah.
That feels like an understatement.
It really does.
It makes you wonder how many other historical narratives were smoothed over for the sake of a simpler plot.
It is. Then, there's a shockingly dark original plot for a Disney short called Donald's Dilemma from 1947.
Donald Duck. What could be dark about Donald?
Donald Duck becomes a world-famous singer, leaving his life behind and forgetting about Daisy. Daisy suffers from depression, insanity, insomnia, and anorexia.
Whoa, okay. That's already pretty heavy.
But in the cartoon's wildest moment, she contemplates suicide, weighing her options with a gun, a noose, a knife, a bomb, a grenade, and poison.
What? Daisy Duck contemplating suicide with all those methods. A gun, a noose, a knife, a bomb, a grenade, and poison. That's absolutely insane. I can't even process that this existed.
Yeah. The source calls it one of the things Disney wants you to forget.
Yeah, I can see why that's heavily censored now. That's not just dark, that's genuinely disturbing for any audience, let alone children.
It's a stark reminder of how far animation has come and how different the perceived boundaries were for what could be shown to a general audience. In Tom and Jerry, in the 1956 short Blue Cat Blues, this cartoon is incredibly dark.
Tom and Jerry, dark. How?
Both Tom and Jerry have love troubles. Tom is shown drinking a lot of milk, trying to drown his sorrows, a clear parallel to drowning sorrows with alcohol.
Okay.
And the ending? They just sit on the train tracks. Together.
Wait, what? They just sit there?
Yep. The source states, Tom and Jerry waited for the train on the tracks to run them over. They committed suicide all because they had problems with love.
Oh my God. I think I remember seeing that as a kid and just not understanding it at all. Now, watching it back, it's just heartbreaking. It's so unambiguous in its implication.
It truly is. It's a somber, explicit implication of suicide that definitely went over kids' heads, but is unavoidable for an adult viewer.
Wow.
These darker origins and censored plots demonstrate that the narratives we remember from childhood were often sanitized. They highlight the entertainment industry's evolving understanding of what's appropriate for young audiences and reveal the original, often much more brutal, undercurrents of even our most beloved tales.
Yeah, no kidding. So moving on from, like, confirmed dark origins, we also have some intriguing, though unconfirmed, theories about mental health and deeper meanings woven into these shows, right?
We do. The Winnie the Pooh characters are often theorized to represent different mental disorders, adding this unexpected layer of psychological depth.
Oh, I've heard about this one. It's wild, like Pooh Bear himself, the embodiment of comfort. What's his deal?
Winnie the Pooh is thought to suffer from a form of inattentive ADHD due to his careless, dreamy nature and disregard for rules.
Huh.
His obsession with honey and willingness to risk everything for it points to impulsivity with obsessive fixations.
Wow. So Winnie the Pooh, the very picture of cozy, innocent childhood, actually has ADHD and obsessive tendencies.
Okay.
And Piglet. He's usually seen as very timid, shy.
Piglet is thought to suffer from generalized anxiety disorder, evident in his nervousness, low self-esteem, and stuttering speech.
That makes sense, actually. Poor Piglet.
Owl appears to be dyslexic, spelling things jumbled and wrong. And Tigger, with his constant bouncing, inability to focus, and impulsive nature, is often cited as a classic sign of ADHD.
So a whole forest of undiagnosed conditions. That's quite the psychological profile for the 100-Acre Wood. What about Kenga and Rabbit?
Kenga is seen as having social anxiety disorder, being an overprotective, super-organized, and controlling mother who tries to prevent Roo from making his own decisions. She even tries to mother Tigger.
Huh.
Rabbit, who is overorganized and obsessed with having everything in the right place, is believed to be suffering from OCD.
That tracks. He's always losing it over his garden. And Eeyore, the perpetually sad donkey, that one feels almost too obvious, tragically.
Eeyore is definitely thought to be suffering from some form of depression, given his downcast nature and inability to find joy in life.
Yeah.
And finally, Christopher Robin, the only human character. With his wild imagination and stuffed toys as best friends, he's thought to have created all the characters in his head, representing his feelings.
Oh, wow.
Leading some to believe he could be suffering from schizophrenia.
That's a heavy one, and it would completely change the context of the entire 100-Acre Wood. It makes sense, though, how all these characters could be manifestations of different aspects of his internal world.
Right.
It gives it a really melancholic, almost tragic underlying tone, suggesting a child grappling with complex emotions. And Alice in Wonderland has similar theories, right, about drugs.
Yes, Alice in Wonderland has long been linked to a person experiencing a drug trip, with many perceived drug references throughout. While unconfirmed by the creator, the surrealism, the changing sizes, the strange characters, and the altered perceptions strongly align with such experiences for many adult viewers.
Yeah, the eat me cakes, the drink me potions.
Exactly. It makes it a compelling, albeit dark, allegorical interpretation. These pervasive fan theories transform beloved, comforting narratives into powerful, albeit unintentional, allegories for mental health or altered states.
Yep.
They highlight how stories, even those for children, can provide a subconscious framework for understanding complex internal struggles, prompting us to reevaluate how early we begin to grapple with our own psychological landscapes.
Okay, let's unpack this. Beyond the hidden jokes and these deeply disturbing origins or fan theories, these shows are doing a lot more. They're actually serving as a window into cultural values and psychological storytelling, often in ways we didn't grasp as kids.
It's true. Children's TV shows may appear innocent, but beneath their colorful animations and catchy songs, many contain deeper meanings, subversive themes, and cultural critiques that adults often pick up on before kids do.
Right.
It's like a curriculum disguised as entertainment, subtly shaping perspectives.
And this isn't just about entertainment. It's about how they subtly reinforce societal values or even critique consumerism. Take SpongeBob SquarePants. Squidward's constant dissatisfaction at the Krusty Krab.
Oh, Squidward, the ultimate mood.
Right. The monotonous 9-to-5 grind, the middle-age existential dread. It's all there mirroring real-world workplace woes.
Exactly. And Mr. Krabs, with his obsession with money and penny pinching, embodies clear capitalist undertones. He's a satirical look at corporate greed and the pitfalls of unchecked materialism.
Yeah, money, money, money.
It's a dark humor that, while simple enough for kids to follow, provides a very real critique of adult working life.
And The Simpsons is truly the original gangster for this, right? Political satire and societal reflection are baked into its DNA.
Absolutely. Groundbreaking.
Homer's failures often reflect the struggles of the working class, and Mr. Burns is the epitome of unchecked corporate greed and corruption. It's a family sitcom, but it's also a surprisingly accurate, albeit exaggerated, mirror to American society.
It really is. Beyond the humor, it tackles class struggles, family dynamics, and political commentary in ways that have made it timeless.
Totally.
Then you have shows that explicitly focus on emotional intelligence and growth, like Sesame Street. Its pioneering role in teaching empathy, social interaction, and emotional regulation through relatable characters like Big Bird dealing with loneliness or Cookie Monster. Learning self-control is incredibly profound and enduring.
Yeah, Sesame Street really laid the groundwork for intentional education through entertainment. And Bluey is another one that has resonated so deeply with adults, myself included.
Oh, Bluey's brilliant.
It subtly explores modern parenting philosophies, emotional intelligence, and the importance of imaginative play. It also touches on incredibly mature emotional themes like grief and loss, which is huge for a children's show.
It really is, offering a vocabulary for difficult feelings.
Exactly.
It's remarkably sophisticated in its approach. And shows like Inside Out directly address complex emotions like anxiety and sadness, personifying them to make them understandable.
Such a clever concept.
While She-Ra and the Princesses of Power explores themes of identity, self-acceptance, and power. These are not just superficial cartoons. They're genuinely engaging with the complexities of human experience and personal growth.
It's almost like they're giving kids a vocabulary for their feelings and the world around them without them even realizing it, building a foundation for emotional literacy.
Exactly. And then there's the broader life themes and allegorical storytelling. Adventure Time, for example.
Oh man, Adventure Time. So weird. So wonderful.
Beneath its whimsical, surreal surface, it deals with heavy existential themes like loss, trauma, and the passage of time. The Land of Ooh isn't just a fantasy setting, it's a profound metaphor for life's complexities and struggles.
Yeah, and the whole post-apocalyptic thing, right? The mushroom war.
It certainly is. There are strong themes of post-nuclear survival and the effects of radiation, with the world being a post-apocalyptic landscape subtly explored throughout.
Deep stuff.
Then you have shows like My Little Pony, which, surprisingly for some, carries strong themes of female empowerment, diversity, and collaboration, actively challenging traditional gender roles and promoting inclusivity.
That's a huge shift from what might have been expected from a pony show challenging preconceived notions.
Definitely. And the Powerpuff Girls also dives into female agency, fighting injustice, and teamwork. It's about more than just beating up villains. It's about using your power for good, together, and navigating sisterhood.
Yeah, girl power.
Absolutely. And even the Cat in the Hat knows a lot about that promotes scientific curiosity, exploration, and environmental awareness.
Okay, so learning disguised as fun.
These themes are subtly woven in, allowing children to engage on a surface level while still receiving deep formative messages about their world. But If we connect this to the bigger picture, some shows designed for kids actually have incredibly dark or unsettling core concepts that only become apparent when you view them with an adult lens.
Okay, like what?
Like Cat Dog. The disturbing reality of being genetically conjoined and the constant ridicule they face for being different.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's kind of a body horror premise when you think about it. And dogs' traumatizing meat hallucinations. Remember those?
Yeah, yes. Where he sees sentient meat tormenting him after he decides to become vegetarian. Genuinely unsettling.
And the constant bullying cat dog faces from characters like the Greasers sends a pretty bleak message about accepting differences.
Indeed. And then Mr. Meaty. That show was just bizarre and grotesque.
Ugh, Mr. Meaty. That puppet style was something else.
The situations were wild, like turning mall shoppers into zombies or having a stowaway vampire in their freezer. The character designs alone felt like a fever dream, intentionally off-putting and creepy.
It truly did. It was designed to be unsettling. Then there's Dan Weiss, the premise itself. A man who cannot control his rage, constantly seeking vengeance and dragging his friends into violent messes.
Right, Dan just hates everything.
Characters get severely injured, and there's even a blood sacrifice mentioned that really pushes the definition of a kid's show.
A blood sacrifice in a kid's show? Like what?
Yeah.
The sacrifice, it'll wait 10 minutes. That's genuinely messed up.
It really is.
And the secret world of Alex Mack. A young girl exposed to a radioactive substance, developing powers but living in constant fear of being snatched and experimented on by a chemical plant.
Right, the GC-161. That's a huge, terrifying burden for a child. It creates this constant underlying creepiness and anxiety throughout the series.
It does, and real monsters, with monsters attending school to learn how to scare humans for assignments.
Yeah, Ickies, Oblina, Crumb.
Their hideous looks and cruel methods, like having to scare the pants off an 8-year-old, make the premise genuinely disturbing, especially the thought of these creatures existing and learning to terrify.
It's like their whole purpose is fear.
Then there's the marvelous misadventures of Flapjack, the odd concept of a boy living inside a talking whale, Bubby, who's his adoptive mom.
Okay, that's already weird.
And his association with Captain Knuckles, a creepy old pirate. And the visuals are often incredibly gross, like Peppermint Larry with the candy flute. It's just so much unsettling weirdness.
Yeah, that show had a very distinct, very moist aesthetic. Definitely unsettling.
No, you really don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, while seen as fun for all ages now, they're darker origins in the original comics.
Right. The Eastman and Laird comics were gritty.
And the 2003 cartoon reflected this, including a scene with the near dissection of the turtles by Bishop.
Near dissection. Sorry, I can't administer a sedative, but it might corrupt my findings. That's not a kid-friendly concept at all.
Not even close. An Infinity Train, a train where passengers cannot leave until they work through their traumas.
Oh, I've heard good things about that one, but yeah, the premise is intense.
It highlights the dangerous and difficult nature of unresolved issues. It's like therapy, but with much higher, almost existential stakes.
Right. And Animorphs, the book series was intense. How about the show?
Teenagers are transformed into animals to fight brain-rotting parasites called the Yeerks, who control people by sneaking into their ears.
Ugh, the ear slugs.
These teenagers are essentially enlisted into a war overnight, dealing with body horror and warfare. That's a heavy concept for kids, body horror, parasites, and child soldiers.
Definitely. And Ghostwriter. I remember that being about solving mysteries with words.
Yeah, but the revelation later on that Ghostwriter was originally a murdered, enslaved person from the Civil War adds this layer of dark realism that is just incredibly heavy and emotionally resonant.
Whoa, I did not know that. That profoundly changes the perception of the show's core premise, making it much more than just a mystery.
It really does. And then Boobah. Just,
Boobah.
oh God, Boobah. Those things were terrifying.
Described as terrifying and psychedelic alien creatures with enormous unblinking eyes and retractable necks that perform rituals. For adults, it's a disturbing and unsettling experience.
I remember that show. It just felt off, profoundly unsettling, like what was happening. Right. It felt like something you shouldn't be watching.
Exactly. And the Demon Headmaster, the concept of a school principal who is an evil entity manipulating and controlling students trying to rule the world.
Okay, that makes school a terrifying place, amplifying a common childhood fear. Preys on that childhood anxiety of authority figures.
Totally. And Goosebumps is classic children's horror, obviously designed to be scary.
Yeah, R.L. Stine. Legends. But it had genuinely disturbing stories, like haunted masks that fuse to your face, living dummies, and houses that need blood.
Houses needing blood. That's something straight out of a slasher film. Even for Goosebumps, that's dark.
Absolutely. And Invader Zim, an alien attempting to enslave the human race.
Zim and GIR. Doom, doom, doom.
Engaging in horrifying acts like plucking out eyes, murdering classmates, and performing unauthorized operations. All of this incredibly in a Nickelodeon cartoon.
Plucking out eyes. I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about. That's extreme. Jonah Vasquez did not hold back.
Not at all. And Courage the Cowardly Dog is known for being one of the scariest and darkest cartoons, with gruesome imagery and blood-freezing supernatural entities that torment the characters.
Oh, Courage. That show gave me nightmares. Return the Slob.
It was definitely pushing boundaries, in the best and worst ways. Then Teletubbies, with its reputation for being creepy.
The baby sun face.
Strange-looking creatures, gibberish communication, human children displayed on their stomachs, and that sun with a human baby's face. It's often described as an acid trip for babies.
An acid trip for babies, basically. Eat custard. Room with an intelligent vacuum cleaner. It's just so weird and unsettling.
It really is. And Cow and Chicken again, with the recurring presence of the devil, the red guy.
The pantsless devil.
And the unexplained absence of the parents' upper halves. That adds dark humor and unnerving surrealism, creates a consistent sense of unease and the absurd.
Totally. And The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy has deeply disturbing themes of slavery and murder as two children hold the Grim Reaper hostage and manipulate him.
Right, they won him in a limbo contest.
And he has murderous fantasies, holding the Grim Reaper hostage.
Yeah.
And he has murderous fantasies. That's really dark for a show where kids are the protagonists.
It is. And finally, the Ren and Stimpy Show, infamous for being needlessly brutal and violent, with numerous censored episodes.
Oh, Ren's angry face.
And one episode even leading to the creator's firing due to its disgusting and inappropriate subject matter.
Yeah.
It was a very controversial show that really pushed the limits of what was acceptable for children's animation at the time.
This reveals a fascinating paradox. That much of what we deem kid-friendly actually contains deeply unsettling or complex core concepts.
Yeah.
It forces us to acknowledge that children's media often grapples with unspoken anxieties, dark humor, and profound lessons, reflecting the often unspoken realities of life far earlier than we might realize.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. What if all these stories aren't just separate, but actually connected? The internet has gone wild with the idea of the Disney-Pixar shared universe theory.
Yes, the Pixar theory. But it goes beyond just Pixar, right?
Yeah, proposing that all Pixar movies exist in the same timeline, but the fan theories extend even further into the broader Disney universe, connecting everything.
It's a fascinating theory, and the creators often embed Easter eggs that lend credence to it, either as genuine connections or just playful nods.
Right. Like Flynn Rider from Tangled. There's a theory that he faked being stabbed by a Gothel.
Faked it. Has.
You see the scene, he falls to the ground, but there's apparently no blood. And then, when the angle changes, he suddenly has shackles on his wrists that weren't there before.
Huh. So the theory is...
So he faked the injury and the shackles to look like a hero, gain access somewhere. And the theory is he did it to meet Elsa, who Rapunzel and Flynn cameo alongside in Frozen.
Whoa. He never would have met Elsa and become royalty if he hadn't have saved Rapunzel.
That's a deep conspiracy, one that certainly makes you reevaluate his entire character arc. Maybe he wasn't just a charming thief.
It definitely makes you question everything about his motives. And speaking of Frozen, young Anna and Elsa are seen playing with toys of Dumbo and Baymax from Big Hero 6.
Which is a future movie relative to Frozen's setting.
Exactly. This raises intriguing questions about time travel or future knowledge, implying these stories are not just happening in the same universe, but possibly across different eras.
That's trippy. Like, how would they have toys of Dumbo and Baymax in the 1800s if Big Hero 6 takes place in the future?
Good question. And Baymax pops up again. Remember that scene in Moana where there's a coconut design that looks just like Baymax?
Oh, yeah, the Kakamora coconut.
Yes, the Baymax visited Moana theory. It's a subtle visual cue that implies Baymax's influence or presence could extend across time and cultures.
Okay, that's fun.
And then there's the even wilder theory that Maui himself is actually Sven from Frozen.
Maui is Sven. The demigod is the reindeer. That's wild, how?
The source says he accidentally let it slip out during the movie. It references the scene where Maui accidentally transforms into a bunch of random animals, including Sven, very briefly.
Oh my god, I need to rewatch that. So if he can shapeshift and he's a demigod, it's not impossible that he could be Sven. It implies shapeshifting and potentially time travel.
It certainly makes you wonder about the full extent of his powers in the timeline. And the Monsters, Inc. doors, people theorize they don't just travel space, but also time, similar to Doctor Who's TARDIS.
That's a genius connection, and it makes so much sense. The doors go anywhere, anywhen. So, a carving of Sully's image found in a forest witch's cabin in 10th century Scotland in Brave.
Exactly. That would completely reinforce the shared universe and the time-traveling doors theory. Like, Sully scared that old lady at some point in the past when she was a child.
That's a really clever way to link them up and fills in gaps that we didn't even know existed. Mind blown again.
It is. And Mike Wazowski was also seen in the ancient past in Frozen 2 as a wooden figurine in a shop.
No way! Mike, too!
It further supports the time-traveling door theory, suggesting both Mike and Sully have visited the past. And Boo, from Monsters, Inc., there's even a theory she can teleport.
Teleport? How? The locker thing?
Yeah, in the scene where Sully puts Boo in a locker, it's number 193, that the camera angle changes, and it's suddenly locker 190.
Okay.
But then the source clarifies that it wasn't Boo herself changed lockers, it was just her items, maybe an animation error. But then it adds, but how did she get on his back? Implying she moved quickly.
It's a fun, mind-bending detail that keeps you guessing. A little inconsistency fuels the fanfire.
It's a small animation error that leads to big fan theories. But what we do know for sure is that Boo went to school with plenty of other Disney stars. In Toy Story 4, when Woody is watching Bonnie make Forky, Boo is visible as a classmate.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw that pointed out. So Boo, who time-traveled from the future, maybe, is in Bonnie's class in Toy Story. That's a fun continuity nod.
And Riley from Inside Out. And May from Turning Red.
What about them?
Riley appears as a classmate of May in Turning Red, though her eye color has changed.
Huh. Maybe just reusing the character model?
Possibly. It's speculated Disney reused Riley's design. And Riley also appears in Finding Dory in the aquarium scene with a classmate, consistent with their geographical proximity.
Right. Dory goes to California, Riley's in San Francisco.
Exactly. So Riley is quite the Disney universe superstar.
She is. She gets around. And Nemo. Nemo nearly got eaten in Brother Bear.
Yep. There's an incredibly hidden Easter egg of Nemo briefly appearing in a human's fishnet before being saved by a mammoth.
Of all things, Nemo was saved by a mammoth. That's one you'd never catch without slowing it down frame by frame. That's amazing.
It's truly blink and you miss it. And the Incredibles have popped up in other movies too. Mr. Incredible Comic in Finding Nemo.
Okay, that makes sense. Merchandising.
And the appearance of the Incredibles as skeletons in Coco.
Skeletons? In Coco? Wait, could this mean the Incredibles are dead? That's a truly provocative question. It implies a tragic end for them after all their heroics. Oh, no.
It's a dark implication. And Sid from Toy Story also appears in Coco in the Land of the Dead, wearing his signature skull shirt.
Oh, Sid the toy torturer. So that heavily implies his demise, too. These little details connect the films in unexpected and often dark ways.
They do. And Lasso, the villain from Toy Story 3, appears in Up when Carl's house floats away.
Lots is in Up.
Apparently in the corner of a little girl's room as the house floats by, leading to speculation about his origin or a new home before he ended up at Sunnyside.
That's like a villain cameo before he became a villain, or maybe after. It leaves it open to interpretation. And Rex from Toy Story and WALL-E.
Yep. Rex is found amidst WALL-E's hideout, suggesting toys' immortality and survival through an apocalypse.
It's a comforting thought for those beloved characters surviving even a post-apocalyptic world. Good old Rex made it.
He did. And the presence of a Stitch toy in the future implies that Stitch, Experiment 626, has an immortal toy line.
So Stitch, the chaotic alien, becomes a beloved toy line. That's a nice full circle for his character. Good for him.
And Mulan's influence on Stitch. Nani has a Mulan poster and a Mulan Walk restaurant sign as seen.
Oh, yeah.
The theory is that Mulan served as an inspiration that shaped Nani, who in turn raised Stitch to be a hero, passing on those values.
That's a really nice, subtle way to connect character development across different films, showing how characters can be influenced by cultural heroes. I like that one.
Me too. And Moana and the Little Mermaid, Flounder, Ariel's friend, makes a cameo in Moana.
Hey, Flounder in Moana during You're Welcome.
Apparently so. Very quick.
That's subtle. And Goofy talking to Triton underwater in The Little Mermaid.
Yes. In the big crowd scene at the beginning, Goofy inexplicably seen underwater talking to Triton. How can he breathe underwater? It's never explained. He's just there.
It's a classic Disney anomaly that just exists in its own delightful weirdness. Gotta love Goofy.
Totally. And Julia from Luca has a stuffed Donald Duck toy in her room. This is a clear Easter egg referencing another classic Disney character.
Cute. The source says, if Donald was the one that was visiting Little Mermaid in our last secret, things would have made a lot more sense. Connecting the unexplainable.
That's hilarious. And Soul actually teased Luca before it was even released with a travel poster in the background saying, "Visit Portorosso, the fictional Italian town from Luca."
That's a fun little pre-release Easter egg that would have gone unnoticed at the time. Very clever.
It is. And the train number 2319 in Soul references the hazardous material code from Monsters, Inc. We have a 2319.
Oh my god, yes. The white sock? So maybe that Soul train makes a stop in Monstropolis.
Suggesting a potential stop in Monstropolis, yeah.
Yeah.
So the same train transports souls and hazardous material. That's a darkly amusing thought.
It really is. And finally, a really grim one. Scar playing with a lion skull in his lair after killing Mufasa in The Lion King.
Oh yeah, that scene.
The dark theory is that it's Mufasa's skull, implying Scar ate his brother.
Ugh. That's a genuinely disturbing and widely debated theory that darkens an already tragic story. It's a detail that, once you see it, is incredibly hard to unsee.
It really is. This interconnectedness, whether intentional or fan-driven, transforms individual stories into this vast, sprawling narrative.
Yeah.
It speaks to our deep human desire for a cohesive universe where every piece fits, offering a sense of order and hidden meaning in the chaotic world of storytelling.
Well said.
Okay, let's unpack this final piece. Beyond the hidden jokes and shared universes, these shows often carry powerful messages about LGBTQ+ representation and social responsibility, reflecting broader societal shifts and contributing to a more inclusive world.
Absolutely. And this is really important. Steven Universe stands out as one of the first children's shows to openly depict same-sex relationships, particularly with Ruby and Sapphire forming Garnet.
Yeah, that was groundbreaking.
It skillfully blends magical storytelling with profound messages of self-acceptance, gender fluidity, and love beyond traditional societal constraints. It truly broke ground by normalizing and celebrating diverse forms of love and identity for a young audience.
That's huge for representation, especially for younger audiences to see themselves reflected in a positive, magical context. It offers validation and understanding that previous generations often didn't have in children's media.
Exactly. And Bluey recently included a subtle gay couple, right? Two mums at the school pickup, I think.
Yeah, Pretzel's moms. What was the reception to that? Because Bluey is massive.
There was that subtle inclusion, yeah. And as kind of expected, it received mixed reactions. A lot of positive celebration, but also some conservative backlash online.
Right.
It just shows that while progress is being made and many embrace these inclusive representations, these depictions can still be met with differing viewpoints, highlighting the ongoing conversation around diversity in media. We're just reporting what happened there, of course.
Yeah, and historically, some shows had problematic depictions that faced backlash, showing how complex this landscape has been. Rugrats, for instance.
Oh, what happened with Rugrats?
The depiction of Grandpa Boris, Angelica's grandpa, apparently received backlash from the Anti-Defamation League in its early iterations. They likened the character design to anti-Semitic caricatures found in Nazi propaganda.
Wow. That's serious criticism for a show about babies.
Yeah. Though it's worth noting that, in contrast, the Hanukkah episodes of Rugrats actually received overwhelmingly positive reception from most outlets, demonstrating the complexity of representation and how perceptions can differ across content and context.
That is complex. It shows how fine the line can be. These examples of LGBTQ+ representation and the historical missteps illustrate why it's vital for children's media to be thoughtful about its societal impact.
Definitely.
They highlight the power of these shows not just to entertain, but to shape young minds, foster empathy, and reflect the evolving values of a diverse world, navigating the challenges and opportunities of inclusion.
Wow, this has been a lot. My childhood is in shambles, but in the best way possible, you know?
I get that feeling.
I feel like I just got a secret decoder ring for every cartoon I ever watched, transforming simple nostalgia into something much richer and more thought-provoking.
It really changes the lens through which you view them, doesn't it? It's about seeing the threads that connect seemingly innocent stories to the larger cultural and psychological landscapes.
Yeah.
It's an invitation to engage with media on a deeper level.
So what does this all mean for you listening? What hidden themes or surprising layers have you noticed in your favorite children's shows now that you're older? How does knowing all this change the way you look at your own childhood? Does it make you more curious, perhaps even prompting you to revisit those animated worlds, or a little unsettled by what lurked beneath the surface?
It's a good question to ponder.
We invite you to rewatch some classics with a new lens. You might be surprised by what you find and what new conversations it sparks within you.
It's about fostering critical thinking, understanding that media, even for children, is never truly neutral. It carries messages, values, and sometimes even a secret language that continues to influence us long after the TV is turned off.
This episode in the Deep Dive, a podcast exploring stories, myths, and truths, brought to you by Neon Core Media.